Should I level up my main priest class or my sage? Which class should I prioritize among artificer, marksman, and scout? What about battle dancer, conjurer, and enhancer? These are some of the most common, yet complex questions players face when leveling up characters in Sword World 2.5. In this guide, we'll address these questions and provide basic guidelines for determining which class to level up. The fundamental guiding principles are: know your main, sub, and utility classes, be aware of party adventurer levels, and understand your party composition. Let's start with the first principle. The guideline is that a subclass is usually 2 levels lower than the main class, while a utility class can be any level up to the subclass level. In principle, classes can be divided into these 3 categories. Main classes are those that help you fulfill your primary role, such as killing enemies, tanking damage, or healing allies. To determine your main class, think about your role and which class best helps you achieve it. For example, Fighter is the main class for the Human Warrior sample character from CR3, Marksman for the Runefolk Gunner, and Grappler for the Lycant Boxer. Subclasses support your main class but aren't key game changers. For the Human Warrior, these are Scout and Ranger. For the Runefolk Gunner, they're Artificer and Sage, while for the Lycant Boxer, they're Scout and Sage. For Magic Warriors, a Wizard-type class can be a subclass, since most common builds deal damage with Mana Strike and melee weapons. For Gunners, Artificer can also be a subclass, as Marksman is typically more important. You need to hit your opponents reliably before focusing on higher power bullets and extra damage. Utility classes are those you dip into for specific buffs. These usually include Enhancer, Alchemist, and Tactician, classes you can use with a minor action to buff your actions, even with just 1 level. Among the sample characters, the Human Warrior has an Enhancer class as a utility class, and Runefolk Gunner has a utility class in Alchemist. While you can level these up first, consider what specific buffs you need at the next levels, such as an evasion buff with Gazelle Feet, or a damage buff with Vorpal Weapon. Of course, you can focus on utility classes as your subclasses and keep them at high levels. Just remember, it's better to limit your main classes to a maximum of 1, subclasses to 3, and utility classes are usually kept within 0 to 2. This will help you adhere to other basic principles. Speaking of which, let's look at the second principle. You cannot level up without considering your party and GM. Some builds require only 1 or 2 classes to function effectively, like those focused on sorcery. For example, Bob the Magician. While everyone receives the same amount of XP, your party members might have more XP-hungry builds, such as a Paladin build consisting of Priest, Fighter, Ranger or Artificer, Marksman, Sage, Alchemist combination. As a result, while your party might be at Adventurer level 5, you could reach level 7 with the same XP. This disparity creates several problems. It forces the GM to adjust difficulty and increase monster levels. Typically, GM set boss levels 2 levels higher than the average Adventurer level. In our example, to account for Bob the Magician, the party would face level 8 bosses. Consequently, only Bob would be able to reliably damage the boss, leaving other party members feeling that the challenge isn't tailored for them and unfair. This situation can also lead to level wars, where other players feel compelled to catch up. They might abandon their less used classes to focus on one main class, matching the ever-leveling one-trick pony. This approach often results in a less enjoyable game for everyone. To prevent this, it's crucial to communicate with your party and GM about leveling plans and maintain your adventurer level within -1 to +1 levels of the average. This strategy ensures that all players can contribute meaningfully and enjoy the challenges presented by the GM. To address this issue naturally, let's examine the final principle. Sword World is a team-based game, and every party should be able to survive combat, tank damage, heal, win initiative, disarm traps, and know enemies' weak points. Party composition is crucial, so it's best to discuss with your teammates to ensure you have at least one person skilled in initiative roles and one in monster knowledge, roles typically covered by the Scout and Sage class. Ranger can help with healing outside of combat, as well as some skill checks and so on. This is why it's advantageous to have several classes instead of focusing on just one. Consider what roles are not yet covered in your party and level up those classes accordingly. This approach helps maintain balance within the group and ensures all necessary roles are filled. By diversifying your class levels, you not only contribute to the team's overall effectiveness, but also create a more versatile and adaptable character. This strategy fosters better synergy among party members and enhances the group's ability to tackle a wide range of challenges. In conclusion, leveling up in Sword World 2.5 requires careful consideration of your character's role, party dynamics, and overall game balance. By following the principles of knowing your class types, maintaining awareness of party levels, and understanding team composition, you can create a well-rounded character that contributes effectively to your group's success. Remember, the goal is not just to maximize your individual power, but to enhance the entire party's ability to overcome challenges and enjoy the game together.